Exclusive figures obtained by ITV News Anglia show the rapid rise in demand for help for children with special educational needs.
Right across the region, the number of applications for education, health and care plans has risen by an average of a third, and at the same time, the number of special school places remains almost unchanged.
Well, shockingly, our figures also show that councils in the East are fighting parents asking for help for their children in the courts, only to lose almost every legal battle to the parents, spending hundreds of thousands of pounds in the process.
With the latest of our Send stories, here's Matthew Hudson.
At Amt Hill in Bedfordshire, fighting for the right education, health and care plan for her autistic daughter Lucy has cost Lindsay Ewan a great deal. Her marriage is over, she's remortgaged her house for legal fees and seen it affect her health. All taking her local authority to tribunals, which the council was always going to lose.
The stress they cause families and what they put people through is so unbelievably stressful. And I've had to raise, I believe, between £13,000 and £16,000 for 2 tribunals. I've had to borrow money. But I truly believe that if I hadn't done what I've done, I would still have a non-verbal child. And she wouldn't be still 12 years old and surviving in a mainstream.
For years now, politicians from across the spectrum have told us that all young people deserve a fulfilling education to help them achieve their potential. So it's hardly a surprise if parents of children with special educational needs want exactly that for their kids. But is the system broken? As demand for help increases, the number of specialist places stays around the same. Exclusive figures obtained by ITV News Anglia show that in the last 4 years, the number of education, health and care plans granted for children increased by 86% in North Northamptonshire, 43% in Bedford Borough and 107% in Cambridgeshire. Some applications are rejected, meaning parents sometimes have to take the council to tribunal, literally fighting them in the courts, a fight which councils almost always lose. Across all the council areas that responded to our request, appeals were undertaken in around 1,000 cases. Councils won just 51. The cost? Most councils say they don't record the amount spent on legal fees fighting parents, but one authority did respond. Across the last 4 years, Cambridgeshire County Council have spent nearly £400,000 on tribunals they almost always lose.
Families have to go through this process of getting an EHCP. Often they're not happy with what they first get, and then they go to a tribunal, and then they often get better provision. But the whole process is long and painful and very difficult, both for the council and for families. And so the system is not working well for anybody as it is at the moment.
Highfield School in Ely teaches more than 120 SEN children and young adults. Each place receives £10,000 from central government, the same figure as 12 years ago. Local authorities add some more money, but say they are desperately short themselves. Head teacher Adam Dorr is having to make cuts, including to staffing levels, while simultaneously taking on more pupils. He believes the government must invest.
I'm not here to defend the local authority, but I will, where I think they're right. And, they don't receive the funding they need, certainly in Cambridgeshire, from national government. I'm sure if the local authority suddenly had a load of extra money, they would like to spend it on building some new schools, which is what we need.
The crisis is also affecting mainstream primary schools, where SENs are often first identified.
There are youngsters who we've not failed, but we've not done as well as we've been able to do because early identification, rapid intervention and specialist provision has been in short supply.
Parents, schools, local authorities all say there just aren't enough resources. It often puts them on opposite sides. However, they all agree without huge investment, the whole system could collapse. Matthew Hudson, ITV News in Ely.
Well, let's go to Westminster and our political correspondent Emma Hutchinson. Hello, Emma. The government currently consulting on their plans for Send.
Yes, that's right. The government admit that the system is not working for very many people, and they say their SEND review, which is currently undergoing consultation, is in response to the recognition that for very many young people, children, families, the system is failing to deliver. It's certainly a big issue here at Westminster. Earlier today, many MPs from our region were questioning education ministers about this issue. Tomorrow morning, the Education Select Committee, chaired by the Harlow MP, Rob Halfon, will debate this issue and hear evidence from witnesses as well. We did ask the Department for Education to respond to the issues raised in Matt's report. They sent us this statement saying that they know the current system of support for children with special educational needs and disabilities isn't consistent across the country. That's why we've listened to children, young people, their families in the sector and published our ambition for the future of SEND support. Now, some of those plans for the future include a national standard, so consistency across the line, also mandatory mediation to avoid the need for so many tribunals. They also want to simplify the EHCP process, and there will also be more money available.
So what's the timetable, Emma?
Well, the consultation finishes by the end of June, and then the government will publish their full plans later this year, but it could then take months, years to go through the House of Commons and the House of Lords, so it could be a while before anything changes. As for the money, an extra £1 billion will be available next year, so that will take the funding to £9.1 billion in a year, and the government say that will start to help children very soon.
Emma, thank you.